Hello everybody, Freemantle here, with what may prove to be the shortest video in this series, even though I'm going to do some nitty-gritty advocacy for one of the 3 or 4 most profound phenomena in all human affairs. The domestication of plants and animals and a few other things are more significant, but capitalism doesn't trail them by a long way. Capitalism has changed the human condition for the incomparably better. And among intellectual issues about human affairs, capitalism is so significant that liberals divide the entire political universe on the basis of whether a person is a friend or foe of capitalism. The friends of capitalism he calls conservatives, and in that category he lumps objectivists, those are people who endorse Ayn Rand's philosophy of objectivism, limited government libertarians, libertarians who want no government, a variety of conservatives, religious conservatives, fiscal conservatives, social conservatives, what I call standard conservatives, self-named bleeding heart libertarians, you get the idea. All these people are conservatives, as the liberal uses the word, but in fact, they differ on fundamentals, and the only thing all these non-liberals have in common is that they're pro-capitalism. Capitalism isn't basically a matter of economics. As I say in a video titled, Capitalism, What It Is and Isn't, capitalism is basically a way in which we treat other people. That's why a moral defense of it is more basic than the arguments of economists that capitalism raises the standard of living, does a faster, cheaper, more humane job of improving material life than the alternative does, and so forth. All that's true, but it doesn't get to the root of capitalism, and it doesn't touch why so many people despise it. They hate capitalism because they believe it is immoral. I say just the reverse. Capitalism is moral, and its alternative is immoral. There's only one alternative: control of commercial activity by the political authority, in accordance with aims worked out in the political process. Capitalism is the absence of that political control. That's why capitalism has no political character. For example, there is no such thing as democratic capitalism. The moral case for capitalism is very simple. 3 steps. The first 2 are spelled out in a 2-part video on this channel titled All Together Now. There's no sense in reproducing it here, but I urge you to take a look at it. You'll be able to fill out these 3 steps and see the complete argument. Step 1. A person should always be working to make his life as fulfilled as he can make it. Not as a means to something further, some higher good, something beyond himself, as people say, but living a wonderful life just for its own sake. Whatever else a person is doing, he should also be doing that. Step 2. A person has a moral right to live that way, working to make his life as gratifying as it can be, and everybody else has the same right. In other words, the first moral right of a person is to be able to live his own independent life for his own independent purposes and to build a life of his choosing on that. In order for people to live that way, legal restrictions and regulations have to be cut to the bare minimum. I call that right to live your life for your own purposes the sovereignty principle. And step 3 in this moral justification of capitalism is simply that moral right to live your own life for your own purposes, plus that cutting of political and legal restrictions and regulations in producing and exchanging goods and services. By the way, that moral right to live for your own purposes is what's at stake in the face-off of capitalism and liberalism. The next time you hear a liberal economist talk about how markets have to be managed by the government, or that a certain industry needs to be regulated, bear in mind that he's probably not talking about the rules of a board game. He's more than likely talking about regulating some people's life's work. Again, the video on this channel that justifies the first 2 steps in this 3-step argument for capitalism is called All Together Now. Thank you for listening.